Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host, Edward. What's up, Edward?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. Just another exciting week of football, especially the NFL. And man, what's your takes on like week 14, right? Yeah, week 13. No, was it week 13 or 14?
It was
Week week 14, week 14. Week
yes, this was
14.
week 14.
What's your take?
I don't know. I don't think I ever said this on the podcast, but I think I probably told you like outside the podcast.
Uh-huh.
As we've been watching football, I kind of have been see there's been like this whole, let's say, gripe with the refs and just watching the games and all these like calls the refs are making. I've been watching lately and realizing that these refs are going to make these refs are going to like they're very inconsistent with their calls, and it's going to probably affect like a
A
very
big
very key outcome of the game. And
or like a big moment, like a let's say AFC Championship game, NFC Championship, any playoff game. This might come down to the wire, and it might come down to a call, a missed call, a no call. So I mean, I know I've noticed it too. And not just this year, last year, but I think this year mainly. I think it's been a lot of missed calls or refs haven't been calling anything. Um, but yeah, just like you said, there was I guess issues with the ref, and let's jump right into it. It a big game this week was the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. And that call, very I guess, nobody Mahomes didn't like it. Andy Reid didn't like it. So it was I forgot what down it was. But it was like under like a minute, or it was like a minute or so, and Kadarius Toney was lined up offsides. And before when that play happened, the play was going. Travis Kelce got it to Mahomes passes to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce,
Ladder was the ball
running.
to he ladder was
Kadar-
the ball to Kadarius Toney.
and what a play! What a like
Really could have been the game winning touchdown. That honestly could have been probably the play of the year.
the play of the year, and just like his awareness, like Travis Kelce's awareness of like that Kadarius Toney is right there and just ladders it, knowing the situation, knowing that they got to win this game, and like his football IQ just like a great play, and he was lined up, and so Patrick Mahomes, he was very upset when the game ended, and I think there was a clip.
The guys on the sideline had to hold him back.
He was well in the beginning when that happened. I was like, who is he yelling at? Either was it like a coach or something, and then I realized it was the refs. And then there's a clip of him and Josh Allen, meeting at half field and basically saying, something about the refs, right? Something like, oh, that's like,
Saying this, I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically saying that's the worst call I've ever seen.
but I
Just,
mean,
just basically just greeting Josh Allen, just venting to him.
Josh Allen is probably like, I don't want to hear this. Like, we just went, we just won the game. We've had our issues with refs, or like, when they didn't, the overtime rules and everything. So Josh Allen doesn't want to hear that. But that call, it was the right call. I mean, he was offsides. You see him
Yeah,
lined up. He's offsides.
yeah,
Clearly, he's offside.
literally.
So I don't understand
Yeah, the
what
replay
was.
was right. He was offsides.
So why? So why are they mad? Why is Mahomes mad? Look, I understand they're losing.
Mhm.
Um, offensively, they haven't gone anything. They're not the same. They're offensively, the Chiefs aren't the same offensively. Defensively, they're better. Like we said, like in the last podcast, defensively, they're great. It's offensively, they haven't been clicking. And I think it's all that frustration that Mahomes has had over the receivers and just everything that's going on. I think
It all just reached a boiling point at this point.
he got hot,
Yeah,
and it's just like, and you see it's just like he was clearly off size. Now I don't know. I guess I guess there's certain rules where if the receivers are a little bit offsides, the refs kind of tell them, "Hey, you're off, you know, kind of come back." But I guess in certain situations when they're absurdly offside, like way over like the line of scrimmage, then I guess the refs don't say anything. But that just like Darius Tony's like he has to be more aware of that. But I'm looking at it like nobody else sees
Yeah,
it. Like the other receivers
I
don't see
guess
it. That
throughout
nobody
like
like the center, nobody else sees. The offensive line doesn't see it. Like, but it's mainly him, his responsibility. Like, you should know that you should be lined up. Like,
I guess really people are just looking at they're looking at Kadarius Tony as the scapegoat because first game of the season he hasn't really been he's been known for dropping balls
yeah,
and it's
I
just
think
like
last game I think he did, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he didn't really have a huge game. I mean, like 3 catches for 25 yards. He had 2 carries for 16 yards, but man, that just ruined the play of the year. The fact that imagine what would be the narrative if he wasn't offsides and Kelsey made that play. I mean, he made that play in the Chiefs one. Would have been a whole different story. We'd be like, oh,
mhm.
the Chiefs are back. This is, the Chiefs are back. They're coming back, and then it'll be like the Bills. Well, they lose another game. They're fighting for the playoffs hopes, and now it's like, well,
I mean, yeah, the Bills won, the Chiefs lost. Now the Chiefs are sitting at 8-5,
and it's
but
look, and it, yeah, and well, go ahead.
it's just I guess the narrative kind of like surrounding the Chiefs is has has his offense kind of taken a step back since they lost Tyreek Hill, and also when you lose that big play guy. I mean, Tyreek Hill wasn't there last year, but I guess
And they won the Super Bowl, so a lot of people were like, okay, that was the
yeah,
question. What would
based on his explosiveness, now people are questioning like maybe the Chiefs kind of missed Tyreek Hill or Eric Bieniemy.
because who's the offensive coordinator? Matt Nagy.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Matt Nagy's play calling, obviously the receivers, and then Travis Kelsey. I mean,
or maybe you're looking at the Chiefs like, did we kind of like maybe kind of like shoot ourselves in the foot by not like maybe bringing back Juju Smith-Schuster because he was kind of the slot guy who could make those plays for Mahomes.
like
And
kind of
going back to you can go back to what we said about like Mahomes' frustrations kind of reached a boiling point from because like from his point of view, from the receivers catching the ball would make his job a whole lot easier and it's pretty much been costing them games at this point in the season.
and he can't do it all. So, and obviously we're in December now, so like we said in the previous pod, like this is a time where you should really get going, and the team should really be, you know, start winning and playing great football. This is the time, especially leading to the playoffs, and the Chiefs haven't done it, and it's just like it's a lot of question marks. Where are the Chiefs? Are they gonna go? Are they gonna do well in the playoffs? Are they gonna win the Super Bowl? Like, what is it? And it's now it's looking like they might have to play away from Arrowhead if they want to get to the Super Bowl, which is going to be, like we said the last pod, like it might be Mahomes' first playoff away from Arrowhead. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of questions about the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I don't know how you see them, and but the thing is also, we're not talking more about like how the Bills, like they're winning now. The whole narrative now is like the call, and like the Chiefs not playing well. But we forget about the Bills. The Bills actually played like they played well. Josh Allen,
Going
uh,
23-42, 233 yards, a touchdown, and one pick.
and James Cook. I mean, he was cooking yesterday. I mean, he had 10 carries for 58 yards and 5 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. He was the leading receiver. So he was spreading the ball a lot. Obviously a lot of Dawson Knox came back. Stephon Diggs didn't really have a really big game, but I mean, and then Josh Allen scored a touchdown. So they played well. He played well, and right now the Bills are sitting at what 7-6,
Yep.
and right, if I'm not mistaken, they're they're not in the playoffs, but there's as long as they keep winning, they could potentially make a playoff can make the playoffs depending on other teams and how everything is going now in the AFC. But I don't know you think the Chiefs are done? Do you think like this isn't their year? Just from what you're seeing. Obviously, they have Mahomes and you can't count Mahomes, but from what you're seeing, do you really think they're gonna make the Super Bowl? Do they really have a chance? Because from what I'm seeing, I don't think they are.
I don't know because it,
Like
I
we're in
don't really.
December. Like we're in December and they should be playing well. We should be clicking already. And you still gotta play. If you gotta go away, you still gotta go to Baltimore. It's not easy to play in Baltimore and how the Ravens are playing. So
I mean, the thing now is like, and because Patrick Mahomes' career and like his trajectory of like where everything's gone. I know you said he can't do everything on his own, but we've seen enough that he's so much of a competitor. Like we both watched the quarterback series, so we kind of saw Patrick Mahomes in this new light, and you really do see like this up close and personal view of like how much of a competitor he is. So he's been getting a lot of criticism for his emotional outburst on the sidelines, but it's still maybe kind of like shining a light, like that's what he wanted in a competitor. That's how
yeah,
bad he wants it.
and
Clearly,
and
he's
it
frustrated, just
yeah,
like how he lost.
and he's a leader because I think in the press conference he doesn't he didn't really like put any blame on the receivers or anything, and that's how he's always been doing this season. Like hasn't really put a blame on them. Either he says it's on me or like obviously I think he said the refs. So I mean he's a leader in that. But I think there's a lot of really good teams right now, and I think they're better than some. There's some teams that are better than the Chiefs as of right now. What I'm seeing within 14 weeks of football, like I just don't see the Chiefs, repeating or
Yeah, we
possibly,
said it.
possibly making the AFC Championship. Who knows? Because obviously it's Mahomes, and you can't count him out. Just like how you can never count out Tom Brady with Mahomes. I'm not comparing the two, but there you can't count out Mahomes and his greatness.
We've said it in the past. It's like, yeah, December football. Obviously, the way the AFC is right now, like it's so open, anybody can get hot. So it's
I
just a
mean,
giant shuffling of the deck.
the AFC, how the way it's looking, anybody can make it right now. The Bills, the Bengals with Jake Browning, the Broncos, they're 7-6. The Texans they lost, but they're 7-6. You never know. The Colts 7-6. Your Steelers, somehow they're still seven. They're still in the playoffs, but um, and then the Browns with Flacco, Joe Flacco, like and he looked really well. He looked really good. Against who did they play? The Colts?
You know, the Ravens,
No,
maybe
the
not.
Brown, the Browns, the Browns, the Brown.
The Browns, they
It's
played
kind of it's kind
who
of
did the
weird to
Browns
say that he
play?
plays with the Browns, right? It's kind of weird that he's playing in the Brown with the Browns.
Kind of had
Other
to refresh your memory because he's been out the league for so long.
No, they play the Jaguars. They beat the Jaguars, so a team that's
Hmm.
they're fighting for the playoffs. So, like you said, it's a tight race in the AFC. Um, but we'll see what happens with the Bills and the Chiefs. Now let's move forward to the NFC side, and I'm just gonna say, how about them Cowboys? They are looking really good after just after like they got destroyed by the Niners. But most teams really get destroyed. But this year, it's a little different for me. I think watching them, I think it's a little different for me. It's not. It's how every Cowboys fan, oh, this year, this year, this year.
Hmm.
Something about this team and something about this year is different from other years. Like, what's your thought? Like, what do you think?
I see and I hear you.
And
Yes,
like,
they can.
and like, I'm not a Cowboys fan. You're not a Cowboys fan. You
Hmm.
know, we don't like
But
Cowboys fans are annoying. But you gotta give them flowers. You know, they're
It's very
playing well.
easy
They're
to
a good
hate
team.
Cowboys fans.
Yeah, but you got to give them their flowers. They're playing well in all three phases.
Yeah,
Offense,
they are 10 and
offensive,
3.
yeah,
Dak,
offensively, yeah. Go ahead.
Dak has been balling, and for real, yeah, the defense it looks legit.
And special teams with Aubrey. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
and you know, in past history, the Cowboys have had issues with kickers, and but right as of right now, you know, not to jinx him, but he's playing well. He's what he had like 259-yard, 58-yard field goals the last game against the Eagles. So all three phases they're playing really well. And they just destroyed the Eagles. They did whatever they want to do against the Eagles. The Eagles couldn't do anything against their
they
defense.
could do
And
anything on offense. They just limited Jalen Hurts to just 197 passing yards.
but why so there's a over the this week there was a sign in what is it, like the Eagles facility or the stadium? Somebody, one Eagles fans were holding a sign that said run the ball. How come they don't run the ball? How come they don't run the ball more often? That's how what they got them last year. That's what they did well last year. And
It's
they
not
have
like they
the
didn't try. I'll just say the Dallas defense really
I
just
mean, yeah, but I'm saying like not just this game, but in other games, you know. I mean, DeAndre Swift only had 11 carries for 39 yards. Jalen Hurts 5 carries for 30 yards. Kenneth Gainwell only had 4 carries for 28 yards. So I don't know. I think they just need to run the ball a little bit more. I think Eagles fans also are saying that too. They need to run the ball because that's what got them to the Super Bowl, helped them, was one of the main reasons too. But also that their defense is not good. This is not the same defense from last year. This defense is
yeah, they're not getting
suspicious.
exposed. It's just they're still 10 and 3, and they're still kind of like they can still correct their mistakes, but
But
also it's a rivalry game.
yeah, and the Cowboys are what, like 16-0 at home. Um, but from the first drive that the Cowboys had, they scored a touchdown, CD Lamb. So from that moment, you know, they were just rolling from the beginning. They're like, this is our house. We're gonna beat you. And right now, as we're looking at it, the Cowboys are first in the NFC East, but they have a tough schedule. The Eagles, I think they have like the fourth easiest schedule. Remain the Cowboys still have the Bills and the Dolphins away, and the Cowboys aren't really good at away. So we'll see. Those are two, you know, kind of like let's see what are the Cowboys. You know, this was the first test. You know, they beat the divisional rivals, but now they have a tougher schedule. Um, but like I said, man, these Cowboys, for some reason, I just think this team is different. This team, I don't know how you see it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. They're really just killing it right now, but
And
like I
Dak is
said,
killing it. Dak is killing it. He is slinging
as
it.
football fans, we're just waiting for the moment where they just fall on their face, and if it happens in the playoffs, we're gonna love every single minute of it.
But what do you? I don't know. Like I said, we don't like Cowboys fans and all, and you know the Cowboys, but it'll be kind of crazy if they make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying winning it, but somehow they make it to the Super Bowl. Now it would be a bigger collapse and everything, and the Cowboys fans would start crying and stuff, and they lose the Super Bowl. Now imagine that. So, but this team is clicking. Dak Prescott has been really playing well and is currently favorite to win the MVP. And surprisingly, I heard that the Cowboys never had a MVP quarterback before. And I was like, that was kind of strange from their quarterback history. So that could be the first, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if anybody, but I thought I heard that, you know, the Cowboys haven't had a quarterback MVP. So he could be the MVP of the league, which I think deservedly him and Brock Purdy are in the in the running, but you know, Cowboys having an MVP, that's big. You know, that adds some weight to it in the voting. So I think, and you know, that Prescott has been playing well. You know, 24 for 39, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, and then his cadence,
Here we
yeah, here we
go.
go. I mean, I mean, it's kind of you can definitely hear it, and it's working for him. It's working for him this season. Mike McCarthy has done a really good job with the play calling, and like you said, the defense is playing well. Stephon Gilmore, Gilly Locks just locked up.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, obviously, what DK just did last week, just I don't think was Gilly Lock on him. No, right? No, it was
Diggs.
Bland.
Bland. I'm
Bland,
sorry.
right? Bland. So
Yeah.
so I think this time Gilly Lock, Stephon Gilmore was like, I'm already here, and he did. He did. He definitely locked up AJ Brown, which I mean he still had like 9 catches for 94 yards, but still, I think
The
they
defense
give.
is also creating turnovers too.
Oh yeah, the defense, Michael Parsons. So that defense playing really really well, and everybody. So we'll see what happens with the Cowboys right now. Right now this is second in the NFC East, behind the Niners, which I mean the Niners are rolling. I still see them right now as the favorite to get to the Super Bowl, and as long as they're all healthy, they're. I mean, who can beat them right now? I would definitely a matchup that I would want to see are the Niners Cowboys in the NFC Championship. I think because of the history and these teams, are playing really well right now.
Could happen.
Yeah, but the Lions, the Lions are just that defense is.
Or maybe
Yeah,
like some people still want to see the Eagles and the Niners running back one more time in the playoffs because
nah,
it gets chippy and maybe we like to see a fight.
possibly, but I would want to see the Niners Cowboys. We'll see what happens. The Eagles are currently fifth right now in the East. But now let's go back to the AFC standings. Obviously, you have some, your Steelers are still in there. But I mean, they got
It
what?
has been said we have a 26% chance of making the playoffs.
But what's your actual thoughts on? I mean, take out the biasness, like just be objective here. Like, do you really think this team can make the playoffs the way they're playing? Obviously, I think Kenny Pickett is out for what? 2 more games or one more this week and the next week, or how many games is he out for?
They're saying with his injury, he should be sidelined at least 2 to 4 weeks. I can't really speak on someone else's pain threshold,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. But I'm sure he's a tough. I'm sure he wants to be out there. I'm not, I won't question Kenny Pickett's toughness. I'm sure he wants to be out there. But do you really think this team will make the playoffs? They didn't look good against the Patriots. So I don't want to, go back and remind what that game was. But do you see them somehow making the playoffs when you're seeing the other teams with backup quarterbacks? Now we're kind of seeing how the importance of having a good backup quarterback. And I think the market of backup quarterbacks the price is going to go a little higher from what you're seeing a lot of injuries with obviously Joe Burrow. He's out for the season. Now they got Jake Browning, who surprisingly, once we heard like Joe Burrow was out, we kind of eliminated the Bengals, and now they're playing well. The Browns are on with their fourth quarterback. They had Deshaun, DTR, and who else? Deshaun, DTR, and I'm missing somebody.
was PJ Walker.
PJ Walker. Now they're with Joe Flacco, which if they get him to the playoffs, somehow he makes it. I mean, with that defense too, so it's helping him. But he's slinging the ball. Trevor Lawrence got hurt, but he played this week. The Colts, obviously, Gardner Minshew. Who else? So I think it's kind of and then it's kind of showing me the importance of having a good backup quarterback. But going back, do you think these Steelers are making the playoffs? Just take it. Just don't. Just not as a fan. Don't just as somebody is like looking at them the way they're playing and I see the AFC. Do you really think this team is making the playoffs? And if so, like, are they really going to get out of the first? They're going to get out of the first round. This team doesn't play well.
I can only hope. That's the only answer I have. I can only hope.
I don't. From what I'm seeing, I would want to see the Texans and the Broncos are actually playing well. So and the Bengals. So I just don't see the Steelers somehow. I think somehow they're I think somehow they'll get out. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
It's just like even with like December football, you're supposed to be on your P's and Q's. And I understand like you saw the frustration from Mahomes early in the season is now starting to like come full force at this point in the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, people even say even Steeler teammates are probably like kind of sneak dissing each other. So the whole locker room, yes, it's the frustration is also coming from losing, but you got Minka Fitzpatrick maybe calling out some guys on the team
You kind of
just
see
about like
You kind of see George Pickens on the bench. I think on Thursday he just kind of like frustrating, like little mopey, and are just like,
I mean during the game I saw like Mike T was having a conversation with George Pickens. So in that his weekly press conference, he did say his frustrations is a problem because there's not a solution to it. So I know Mike sees it, but it's still what you want in a competitor.
yeah. But can I also say something? Why are the fans booing Mr. Trubisky? Just support him. I mean, I understand it's Mr. Trubisky, but come on, like you really gotta boo him. Like, give some support, show him something. Like,
He was playing better down the stretch.
but why you gotta start booing? Why do they gotta boo him? Come on, you gotta
Look,
support
man,
him.
look, man, look. I'll just say we were kind of spoiled with the seven. Kind of spoiled us with like his Hall of Fame greatness, and we're a very passionate fan base, and maybe we kind of missed seven. Maybe wish he'd probably put the pads on, but I'm sure he's just enjoying retirement.
He was at the
No
game
plan,
too. He was at the game too.
has no plans of getting back, and this is just life as a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I mean, don't even get me started with the Chargers. Yeah, they're eliminated, and it's looking at it. I'm just like I said, I'm still waiting for Brandon Stanley to get fired. I don't. It's not gonna be this week because they're on a short week to play Thursday night football, and Justin Herbert is not playing that game, so we're gonna have a boring Thursday night football game. Uh, the Raiders played this week, and the score was 3-0. It was kind of like a soccer game, 3-0. The Vikings beat them 3-0. So imagine having Easton, was it the backup
Easton
quarter?
Stick.
Yeah, Easton Stick. So we'll see. But we'll be back with another episode next week. Till then, peace.
I think it's time for me to sign off.
Yeah,
Peace.
peace.